That's right. That has the woodwinds and also uses the percussion, the glockenspiel. The hens and roosters are violins, pretty much, of course. And so as you listen to each movement has an instrument that's featured, and sometimes the piano is the featured instrument. In fact, one of them is called the pianists, which sounds like two people practicing pretty slowly. Yes?
This is my first year. Is this going to be a full orchestra?
No, this is a chamber orchestra. This is strings, 2 pianos. We're using keyboards because there's no place that we do things that has 2 grand pianos. Strings, keyboards, flute, clarinet, percussion.
Oh, bassoon.
No brass. No brass.
No brass. No bassoon.
Yeah, you know, I always push the bassoon, so that's, yeah. It's always good when there's, yes.
If you were to pick a piece of your own, I just can't think what it might be. I mean, Peter the Bull comes to mind, but what are some, maybe 2 or 3 pieces that you might?
Oh, let me think.
Is there anything off the top of your head?
Yes.
Sometimes we in the chorus like to introduce choral pieces, and Haydn creation has even worms and cows, and it might be something.
That's true. And in choral pieces, that's true. There's Haydn creation. There's also, if you get your hands on it, there are plenty of recordings of it. It's probably on YouTube and all that stuff. But Israel and Egypt of Handel, when the all manner of flies come in the play, it's very adorable in the orchestra how the play comes with the flies. That's Israel in Egypt of George Frederick Handel. I think even there's dance music in The Rite of Spring that suggests sort of barking dogs. The bum 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 bum. It's really more about. Actually, let me keep thinking that I could actually do this for.
There could be the ox movement out of pictures at an exhibition.
Oh,
the ox.
An exhibition has a couple of
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of
Chickens and hens movement. Yeah.
Along the way. I was trying to actually think of more sort of absolute music that isn't necessarily connected to an animal, but just suggests one.
Right.
I even think you could even do, the aquarium movement of this piece is, it's more, fish movements are more about the water moving around the fish generally than they are about the fish themselves, since the fish don't make any noise. So even water pieces would also suggest, I'm thinking actually the Wagner Flying Dutchman overture with all the rolling waves in it, suggests to be, could be an animal suggestion also. I could probably come up with more, but that gives you an idea of how I would start thinking about it anyway. And really, it's just kind of up to you. Rather if you wanted to. I mean, it's an optional thing anyway. Yes.
One other question I have: since the carnival piece is the big piece on the program, anything about the composer that's interesting that we might include in our presentation? Cesson, was he a young? I can't remember right now. I'm wondering if he was a young organist, a child prodigy?
I don't remember whether Sanson was a child prodigy.
Okay,
Sanson
be
was a
something
pretty
we could.
successful musician all his life. And if I'm remembering my Sanson biography carefully, correctly, one of the few musicians who came from I might be confusing with Poulenc. They came from a successful enough family that most musicians are like poor all the time, from cradle to grave poor. And I don't think that was Sanson. I'm not sure whether I might be confusing with Poulenc.
Okay.
But nothing jumps out at me about Sanson's life, other than for me, and this doesn't help you in a fourth grade class, is that he's an incredibly underrated composer. And this happens a lot in classical music when music is easy to listen to, it gets underrated. You know, it seems not as serious to people because it's immediately, you know, an immediate hit. It's not difficult. You don't have to figure it out. And so that's the case with Saint-Saëns. Saint-Saëns was also a very brilliant pianist, and which is part of the what happened in why we come up with Carnival of the Animals. But also, there's a lot of just dazzling chamber music by Saint-Saëns with just there's a violin. Their violin sonatas are just the most amazing violin and piano writing. So he was an extremely well accomplished pianist, which is why the piano parts are so prominent in this piece.
So when we talk about the image, we focus just on the Carnival and the Animals, and anything else that we bring in that might suggest animal, or do you want to believe in the other pieces you're doing also?
I would say certainly the Carnival of the Animals is the main focus, just because it's the biggest piece on the program. I think in the case of the other pieces, the Gershwin and the Vivaldi, I think bring in those pieces if those pieces strike you personally. Because this, to me, the most important thing when you go into third, fourth grade classroom is your enthusiasm for the subject. And if you're enthusiastic about something, they are automatically enthusiastic about it. So if something strikes you in one of the other pieces, or if a particular movement of the Saint-Saëns strikes you, then center your talk on that, because that's what gets you the most excited, and therefore them the most excited.
It's more important to, like you said, to be genuinely enthusiastic.
That's right.
Find the parts that really...
The parts that really make you excited.
Share that with them.
That's right.
Even if they only hear from me about a little bit of what they're going to hear, they're going to wait for that, they're going to get there, and they're going to go...
And your job is a big part of your job is teaching them how to be active listeners and to come to their own conclusions about things, because they may have a completely different idea than you about. I mean, there's nothing like playing a piece of music and asking children, "What does this suggest to you?" Because you get the most bizarre answers, even if the piece of music seems utterly straightforward to you. That this must be X. They come up with things that are just so far afield, and we want to encourage that. And so that's the sort of personal touch that each of you brings to doing this. I mean, that's what I do when I go into classrooms. I'm always talking about things that I think are really interesting and sharing them and getting them to basically share my interests or tell me how how they feel about the thing that I'm so excited about.